Broadcasting live from the luxury suite on the plain of Capenna. We don't know that. We're just trying to will it into existence. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody, to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham. Joining me is Cameron.
Hi.
And Nelson.
I'm here, too.
And today, we are going to be looking at everything that Wizards announced in their whole big announcement stream back on Tuesday the 24th. We're recording this on Saturday, August 28th. For your reference. And there was a lot of things. They said a whole bunch of things, and we're going to tell you all about them. But first, we're going to tell you that you can order a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, eventually, from our sponsor, Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. That lets them know that we sent you, and we do that because they're great, and they have good prices, and boy, do they have fast shipping. And they'll ship you stuff anywhere you live. And you can tell them Loading Ready Run sent me. Button, please. Ask for a little 1-inch button, and they will send it to you. And currently, it says lands in front, party in the back.
Which is just so clever.
If you could all just, make whatever your minimum order is, and, even if you haven't figured out everything you need to buy, if you could just go ahead and buy a few cards from Card Kingdom and ask for that button so that it's not here next week, I'd really appreciate it.
Already on it.
So, yeah, Wizards had their massive announcement stream. They have started to do one of these every year. I think the last 2 or 3 years, certainly, it's been sort of like, here's everything forthcoming, here's our roadmap, essentially. And they announced a whole bunch of cool stuff. And so we're going to basically give you all the information you need to know and a little bit about our initial reactions. So first up, we're going to finish out 2021, which I can't believe is almost September.
Yeah, it's like March right now, right?
It feels like it.
Your kid's going into a grade that starts with a letter, man. Or a number now.
Yeah, she's going into grade 1. And it's like she was in kindergarten during the pandemic. Like it's the concept of time is difficult to track.
But related to this first thing we're going to talk about.
Exactly. It's the out of time super drop, which is a new bunch of secret layers. I noticed that they've actually got in the images for these secret layers, they have the smaller boxes that the secret layers were sent to us in that sort of influencer bundle. And I mentioned in the Crack-A-Pack episode, I was like, these are nice. These are smaller. I like these. So
yeah, like the slipcover like ones.
Yeah.
Well, not slipcover, but like, I want to say like they're sleeker.
Yeah, they're physically like a quarter of the size of the existing boxes.
September 2021, tiny boxes, maybe fall of 2022, there'll be a button you can click and they just send you the cards in an envelope.
That'd be good.
Send them to me in a little book. Maybe give that book like a magnetic enclosure.
You want like a tiny deck box sized book? Or what are we saying here?
I'm just like gesturing at the things that from the vault used to come in.
Oh, right.
Oh, right, yes. So yeah, it's a big super drop of secret layers. Like the last time we discussed a super drop, there's a bunch of different things in it. This one's actually already available at time of recording, and it's available until September 14th. I don't actually know. It says it's the out of time super drop, and I don't actually know how this relates to time any more than any other secret layer does, but we'll go through it real quick. First up is Kamigawa Ink, which is legendary creatures from the original Kamigawa block done in a painterly ink on paper style with some colors. So there's Heartless Hidetsugu, Kami of the Crescent Moon, Michiko Kanda, Truth Seeker, Reki, The History of Kamigawa, and Toshiro Umezawa. And the art is all done by, I can't read it, on Zheng Shan. Sorry, it was very small in the actual artist credit on the card images they have posted so far. So yeah, they're borderless and they have a really cool style. They look great, honestly.
They do. I'm not sure if any cards I play are here, but like I really like this use of secret layers.
Yeah.
I like it, and I think I'm probably not going to buy it, but I imagine enough people will buy it just for the Toshiro, because that like is a somewhat popular commander, I believe, that hopefully I'll be able to pick up a cool painterly Heartless Hidetsugu and possibly put back together my first EDH deck ever.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But yeah, they look very nice.
Yeah.
Also, if you're a fan of old cards out of time, maybe you're an old school player, you'll think the following drop looks very nice. It's called Teferi's Time Trouble. And yes, from jokes on Reddit or whatever, from theories and fan crafted cards and things that we thought things might look like if they had come from 1994, it's old border, old text style planeswalkers if they had been made without the planeswalker template. So it's
Yeah.
just a big paragraph explaining all the abilities.
Yep, it's like Blackblade before
Yeah.
equipment existed, right?
So, like, for example, Karn, the Great Creator, is a 4-mana planeswalker legend who says, opponent's artifacts can't activate. Put 5 loyalty, use counters, on Karn. Opponent can attack Karn as though he were you. Any damage he suffers depletes that much loyalty. If Karn has no loyalty, he abandons you. During your turn, you may add 1 loyalty to turn target non-creature artifact into an artifact creature with both power and toughness equal to its casting cost until your next turn. Or you may spend 2 loyalty to put an artifact card from outside the game into your hand.
Nailed it.
It's not just from like an alters company. It's a real product.
Yeah. I dig these, actually.
Karn has like 400 abs.
Yeah, wow.
Oh yeah.
Dude is just absolutely shredded. What an inspiration.
Yeah, and it's art from Adam Rex, Greg Staples, and Mark Zug, and the old borders and all the words. Very funny. I like this a lot.
As well as Karn, you get Teferi, Time Raveler, and Dak Faden.
Yes. Sorry. I put them on screen, but I forget that. Sorry, I'm running the card reader today as well. So I forgot that I hadn't actually said it with my voice words. Next is there's 2 new artist series in this summer drop. The first one, Johannes Voss. It's very exciting. These cards look like an anime that I kind of want to watch. Like it's a man and an angel, it looks like a monk and an angel, perhaps.
Maybe a cleric and an angel.
The notes here say that the cards come together to tell a story and feature a poem written by the artist. Like it's actually the 4 cards between them have a haiku.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing that now.
The cards are Sanctum Prelate, which I don't recall this card's original printing. Actually, I don't remember most of these cards.
It's from either Conspiracy or like Arch Enemy or one of those like summer draft sets.
It's 1 white for a 2/2 human cleric. As it enters the battlefield, choose a number. Non-creature spells with mana value equal to the chosen number can't be cast, which is interesting.
It's a relevant card, yeah.
Yeah. Carpet of Flowers, which I saw many people very excited for a Carpet of Flowers reprint. Still don't know where that one's from. Never heard of this card before.
It's a legacy card. It's from before Modern.
Oh, okay. Sphere of Safety and Karmic Guide.
The art on Sphere of Safety is just incredible.
Yeah, I'm getting like a very strong 5 centimeters per second vibe.
I don't know what that is, but I'm getting a strong vibe from it for sure.
It was an anime.
Cool. Is it good? Should I watch it?
You know, I haven't watched it in a very long time. I don't know anymore.
Fair.
There's a lot of anime that I watched years ago that was awesome at the time that I'm confident I should not recommend. In retrospect.
I've watched Akira at least every 10 years, and it's holding up.
Nice.
Yeah, Akira's great. Have you tried watching Wings of Oniames recently?
No.
Didn't hold up, hey?
The last 10 minutes are spectacular. Well, no, like sorry, the space between the last 15 and the last 10 minutes are spectacular. The ending itself is still what? Anyway,
the next artist series is Thomas Baxa, who also has a very unique stylized style. That was a terrible sentence, but you get the idea. Anyway, Obnixilis Reignited, Sliver Hive Lord, which is like on the one hand, cool that we get a little bit more sort of the anatomy of slivers, but also deeply upsetting that that we get to see us like, basically like a brooding sliver with like the giant pulsating egg butt. Don't like it. Sire of Insanity, which that would put me over the edge mentally, and Spellskite.
I mean, these are, I'm not sure any of these are like, well, I mean, Sliver Overlord clearly is a, good card, but I like all of these cards.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like Sire of Insanity, I want to play with this is a card I play with Anya, Falconwrath.
Oh yeah.
Right?
All the madness.
Yeah, and you can just see that this guy's like, step on into my chest cavity, kids. Right? Because this is a Rakdos card from the second Ravnica set.
Yeah.
Right? Second Ravnica block, right? This was from Gatecrash?
That sounds right. Or possibly even Dragon's Maze.
Yeah, maybe it was Dragon's Maze, actually. But, this guy, he's happy. He's welcoming you into his giant glowing chest cavity of fun. Maybe you will see a Sword Swallower. Who knows?
I really like this set.
And then Spellskite. I finally understand Spellskite now. I know why it works. Because I want to lightning bolt this thing. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's perfect, right?
It kind of reminds me of It, like the end of It, when you see what It really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, like my opponent would just like put this on the field and I'm like, cool, I hate it. Lightning bolt it. And they're like, I have to activate the ability. And they're like, no, you don't. I'm doing this for me.
It's got 4 toughness too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's definitely, if you saw this, your reaction would be a sharp shriek and like stamping on it. Except that I imagine it's too big to actually do that. But if it were appropriate size, you just
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm getting a shovel, and when I'm done hitting this thing with a shovel, I'm going to need an entire box of Kleenex to clean up all like the tears and does when you're sobbing so hard because you're upset that it mixes with snot, does that have a word?
No.
There's a lot of that going on here.
But like if it did have a word, it would end in a Y, because that happens more with like kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get all those ickies off you, little Camwin.
Can we go for ice cream now?
Yes, we can go for ice cream. Get in the car.
Okay.
I think all this art is fantastic, and I even play at least one of these cards regularly, and there's 2 more in the set that are like played a fair bit by other people, or sometimes me. And it's just not, I don't think it's quite worth it for me because I have all of them already for Secret Lair, but they look great. Great set, Thomas Baxa. I also wanted to sneak in real quick, sorry, just because we've been going quick. I really like the value that you get out of the Teferi's Time Trouble pile. And although all these texts for some reason aren't for me, for most old school players, they like it.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a T3 fairy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's like a good deal for those 3 planeswalkers. They're all good planeswalkers that get played.
Yeah.
Nice. The next one is called Math is for Blockers.
Where have I heard that?
That's a familiar phrase.
I'm always wary of like planting a flag in like we came up with that kind of thing, because invariably someone will be like, well, my play group has been using that since 1996, and that may be the case, but I definitely feel like we popularized Math is for Blockers, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, if someone told us that like when we made the pin that said Math is for Blockers, like, hey, that was my joke, I came up with that, I certainly haven't heard from them.
No. And I know that this has happened before to us, because I told this story on the stream the other day that someone on the Magic subreddit was making a whole bunch of Magic t-shirts, just sort of like custom designed t-shirts with like funny sort of common parlance phrases on it. And they were doing a bunch for different sort of color combinations. And for Jund, they did Jund 'em out. And I was like, I contacted him and said, hey, I'm sorry, can you not? Because that's our thing. And, we literally sell Jund 'em out t-shirts already. And he sort of pushed back with like, no, this is not a thing that you did. This is a common phrase that people say in the Magic community. And I was like, yes.
because funny
it's
story,
literally something we scripted in a video.
Just Jund 'em.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not as bullish on claiming Math is for Blockers, but I don't know. I feel some amount of ownership over it. Also, they put the Meandering Tower Shell in this.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
that was one of our previews. Yeah.
The conceit with this, of course, is the power and toughness of the creatures if you line them up.
Right. So they all, what is it? If you put them all in a row, they all add to
3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6.
Oh,
5,
it's pi
3.
in a row,
Pi.
starting with the Brazen Borrower and going forward. I see. 3.14. Gotcha.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So there's some more things going on, right? Like
I actually did not catch that.
Someone pointed it out to me. I would love to say that I just looked at it and was like, oh, how droll. It's pi. I get it. But no, somebody had to point it out to me, and then I was like, oh, right.
So yeah, it starts with Brazen Borrower done in the shape of a triangle, and then I guess a right triangle? Yeah, broadly speaking, in the shape of a right triangle. Then Vindictive Lich. I don't remember where Vindictive Lich is from, but
this is an ancillary set. I think Commander.
Very sort of like spirally art. I feel like there's a lot of golden ratio with this one.
Yeah, I could see that.
The art's all done by Alexandre Chaudray, and apparently they start with simple geometric shape, then blow them up into fantastic illustrations of spectacular creatures. So it's like their art style has like a tight connection with mathematics.
Meandering Tower Shell, as we mentioned. Oran Frostfang, which is cool. Snow creature. And Thragtusk.
I mean, these are all good cards. I actually kind of like this set a lot.
3, 1, 4, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't picked up on the pie thing.
I don't know. I'd be kind of excited to get a Brazen Borrower whose art I really like.
Yeah, Vindictive Lich and Thragtusk are both Canadian Highlander playable as well. I don't know about Frostfang and Meandering Tower Shell, obviously a bit of a meme, but it is a cool set. There's a lot of perfect circles we see in the art. Like there's a moon in the background of almost all the pictures, and like the Thragtusk beasts and their tusks are sort of like interlocking circle shapes. It's very pretty.
Yeah, I find these pleasing to look at.
I very much enjoy the flavor text on Thragtusk. For a crash course in addition, hunt a single Thragtusk.
Always carry 2 spears.
Yeah.
Clever. I like it.
And yeah, that's it. So those are the secret lair drops, and you can get them in a foil bundle and a non-foil bundle and a bundle with everything in foil and not foil.
The flavor text on Meandering Tower Shell, I just realized,
it's
is
pretty
really
good.
too. The weight is proportional to the weight.
It's very good.
I'd like to learn more about the Johannes Voss one. Like if there's I don't know if there's going to be a podcast about the creation of all that or something. It seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to see more of the Johannes Voss secret lair cinematic universe.
So that's Secret Lair. That was several minutes, but that's fine. Rounding out the rest of 2021, we've got Innistrad, which is coming up soon. It's in 2 parts, as has been mentioned. This was not new information, but as a reminder, coming out in mid-September is Innistrad Midnight Hunt, which is a set focused on the werewolves of Innistrad. And then in November is Innistrad Crimson Vow, which is focused on the vampires of Innistrad. And seemingly is also involving Olivia Valdarin marrying, we think, Edgar Markov.
Definitely seems to be. It's the event of the season, really. Place to see and be seen.
Yeah. Can't wait for MTG Cosplay Twitter when Innistrad Crimson Vow comes out.
Yeah, pretty soon on September 2nd, there's going to be a live stream debuting stuff from Midnight Hunt, and then previews will be forthcoming after that, and we will have a pre-release and more information on that, dates and times and whatnot. Watch the skies. We'll tell you as soon as we have that all locked away. So that's cool. I'm excited to go back to Innistrad.
Me
Looking
too.
to see what they do with it this time. Just from what little we've seen from the previews of like Join the Dance, for example, which we talked about a couple episodes ago, last episode, who knows? Just based purely on that, which is like sort of a midsummer vibe of a bunch of people dancing around a giant wicker wolf, I want to say.
Seems correct, yeah.
Yeah. Burning Wolf. Yeah.
Looks like the people of Innistrad have started embracing more pagan traditions.
Yeah, well, I mean, like a friend and I have been talking a lot about this around the Green Knight, right? Which film that came out recently, and looking up actual scholarly articles on syncretism in early Christian art. Right. Basically, the takeaway was that like people think of the medieval period as one of kind of like Christian fundamentalism, but honestly, they integrated a lot of like pagan beliefs, and it was a multicultural society, as it turns out. So stuff like the Green Knight isn't necessarily like the pagan history versus the Christian Knight, right? It's like more complex than that. This is a really big aside for what I'm getting at here, but.
We're with you.
Yeah, I like watching the interplay of these things, right? Like what was there before the Church of Avacyn on Innistrad? And it looks a lot like this, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that goes. And we know even less about Crimson Vow, except that probably Sorin is in it, we assume. I guess he could be in Midnight Hunt, we don't know yet.
Yeah, we're going to see Sorin just like crash through the door of the chapel, kind of hammered. Does anyone have any objection? Speak now or ever hold your peace. I do.
Smash.
Listen, Nahiri put me in a rock. You can't keep doing this here. Stop the wedding.
Stop the wedding.
Yeah.
Death Cab for Cutie is playing. It's really like...
They've announced the return of in-store promos, like promo cards for like events at Wizards Play Network stores, specifically an Arbor Elf, a foil collected company, and a foil Wormcoil engine. And they said that if anyone competes, you get a Arbor Elf. If you make top 8, you get a collected company. And if you win the event, you get a Wormcoil engine. And they say the winner and top 8 promos awarded at WPN stores will have the store name printed on them.
That's really cool. This is for specifically Store Championships events starting in December, right?
Yeah. This isn't just like...
And this is the return of Store Championships. If you remember, that was a program that was around the time of PPTQs, sort of 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I look forward to buying these off the winner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Having the store printed on your card is super cool, though. Thank you for that, WPN Network. Excellent move.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a commander party in October and store championships in December. So that'll be neat. Also, in October, Pioneer Tales of its demise are greatly exaggerated because they're printing Pioneer Challenger decks. So they did this a couple years ago with Modern, I want to say. It was like an off-the-shelf, ready-to-play Modern deck.
Like 10 years ago with Modern, but yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wasn't it the mono white?
Black, white. Maybe it wasn't 10. Maybe it was like 6 or 7 years, but it was quite a while ago.
It was a token strategy, though, right?
Yes, black, white tokens. So it had like the Intangible Virtue and then possibly Doom Travelers. Definitely gave you some Tide Hollow Scullers and some Inquisition of Kozilek and Path to Exile, and then like Lingering Souls, and there were some rare dual lands. It was a pretty great deal, honestly. And it looks like these Pioneer Challenge decks are keeping that spirit alive and giving you a pretty decent deck, like maybe sort of a buy two of these and you have a competitive version of the deck in question, and that, you know, saves you quite a bit of money. So if you're not into Pioneer yet, probably check these out.
Yeah, they're Azorius Spirits, Orzhov Auras, Mono Red Burn, and Lotus Field combo. And they have the complete deck lists.
Those sound like real decks.
Yeah. Oh, the actual card Lotus Field. Okay. I assumed that the field there referred to Field of the Dead, but Field of the Dead might be banned? I don't know.
Probably banned, yeah. May 2014 for that Modern event deck. So 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're finally moving into 2022 now, and they announced Commander Collection Black, which I'm excited to see because I got Commander Collection Green and hoped that they would keep making them, because I was definitely afraid that they were going to be like, well, we'd made green and didn't sell, so goodbye.
Yep. But I mean, this is really exciting. I think the one card that everyone is super excited to see here is the Ophiomancer token.
Right. The token.
It's true.
Finally, Ophiomancer, our nation turns its tired eyes to you.
These are new art of a bunch of different cards. We have Ghoul Caller Gisa, Phyrexian Arena, which is really freaky looking, Reanimate, Toxic Deluge. As with previous Commander Collection, the green one, there are black themed versions of Sol Ring and Command Tower, both of which look terrific. Liliana Heretical Healer, which is the flip one that turns into Liliana Defiant Necromancer, and, as you mentioned, Ophiomancer, but most excitingly, finally, an official 1/1 black snake with Death Touch token for Ophiomancer, which is double-sided and on the backside has a zombie, but we don't care about that.
Just in case you didn't have a zombie token yet somehow.
It is the zombie token for Liliana's brother. That's
cool.
What's his name?
Josu. Yeah, Josu.
Yeah, Josu Vess. Yeah.
Right.
I did not realize that. You're right.
That's super cool.
He ought to have a chest where his chest is.
Yeah, I mean, come on into my gaping chest cavity, wound children.
That's the theme for this announcement, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Phyrexian Arena also has got like I don't know if it's Shale Dread or just like some other kind of weird, monster that's got a huge mouth for like a lower half.
That's good. Yeah, that's Shieldred.
Yeah. Well, it's very creepy looking Shale Dread. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's a weird thing to have on, because Phyrexian Arena, of course, I see Phyrexian Arena and I think Yawgmoth. But no, of course, it's been like 10 years, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because this does put me in mind of the card from Dominaria with... God, what is it? It's not Yawgmoth's Bargain. It's Yawgmoth's Vile Offering.
Yes, the one with Hannah in it. That's based on the art for Isle of the Dead, the painting Island of the Dead.
Well, yeah, but like Yawgmoth... I'm gonna say Yawgmoth itself at this point is sort of shaped like the arena in this image, with like just sort of like a big like semicircle with pokey walls and stuff. It looks kind of like this, but you're right, because that's not Yawgmoth. It does look like Sheldred leaning over it, and it's like, can Sheldred also make herself big into a building? I guess
maybe she's just always been that big, and we didn't notice the scale birds or whatever on her picture.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. I mean, like I'd ignore that coming through a swamp at me too.
Mm-hmm. What's fighting in the foreground? That looks like a Phyrexian Rager or something.
Yeah, Phyrexian Rager, and is that Koth? I can't see.
It's so small.
Please pick up this, Commander Collection and put it really close to your face and let us know what's happening in the art of this Phyrexian Arena. And don't forget your upkeep trigger.
Kisa, always just out there keeping it real, having a good time.
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Never took off her wedding dress. Is that her wedding dress? Probably not.
Yeah. In this art for Gisa, we see her just after having taken off someone's head with a shovel.
Yep.
Nice.
Probably about to turn them into a zombie. So,
I mean, like,
nice
I
work.
feel the question is that Gisa's wedding dress. You could italicize every word in that sentence and get a new meaning out of it.
Is that Gisa's wedding dress? Is that Gisa's wedding dress? Is that Gisa's wedding dress? You're right. It's great.
Yeah.
Well done.
So following that, they also announced, and I love that from a branding perspective, I love this, the Innistrad double feature, which is, again, like the name and the font that they've chosen to use for it is terrific, putting it in mind of a horror movie double feature, vampires and werewolves and everything. What it is kind of amusingly a throwback to how they used to do like regular block drafts. So it's select cards. I guess it's more like the recent remastered sets on Arena. It's selected cards from Innistrad Midnight Hunt and Innistrad Crimson Vow into one draft experience. It says featuring special art treatment on every card. That's interesting. The product image of the booster box and the boosters are in black and white, and I think this is a color photograph. I think it just is in black and white.
Do you think the cards are all going to be black and white and that's the art treatment?
Maybe.
Because like if you had the budget to do alternate art for every single card, like that just seems such a waste of like things that people aren't going to buy because there's so many draft commons and stuff. But maybe if they figured out like, oh, actually we can just like print this set again, but like turn the contrast all the way down or something, and then just like have black and white cards like for the whole set, and then we can put them in these packs. Like that's clever.
Surely you need to like indicate the color of the cards just for like playability.
Right. I would love to hear Innistrad double feature I think is very cool from a branding perspective. I agree. And I think it's great that all three, times we've gone to Innistrad sets of sets or whatever, all three Innistrad blocks, I guess, if that's fair to use that word, have had a different feeling, even though they're all Gothic horror. Like there's, wasn't really aware that there was this much breadth to the Gothic horror milieu and like theme. So good on you for that.
The first set is firmly within Gothic horror, and then the Shadows over Innistrad set dipped its toes into cosmic horror, which was kind of the step. Well, it was a step after that, and then here we have a much more like modern pop horror.
All right. Okay, I stand corrected, but I'm still impressed. I just am not a horror buff. Anyways, but mechanically having one set that it turns out to be two sets and then goes back into being one set, to me, I want to hear like the design explanation of that and whether or not like double feature is kind of like a, window into some corners that we cut to like turn one set into two sets. And like really what Innistrad double feature is how the set started or something. And so like they already had the file for like, this is the draft set. And then at some point they're like, okay, we have too many good ideas. We're going to break it out into two different sets, or whether that's not the story. I'd love to hear at some point, tales from R&D about that.
Well, we'll probably have a Making Magic column about it at some point.
Sweet.
Also, this is a store exclusive.
Okay, well, great. I love those. Buy cards from your stores, kids.
Yeah, because the point is to draft, right? So
yeah. Looking forward to doing that again sometime.
All right, we're going to keep going through the rest of the non-standard releases for 2022. And next up, very excited about this personally, is Unfinity.
Yeah.
So this is it's a new unset, so it'll be, draftable. Unlike the last thing we saw was the unsanctioned, like pre-constructed box thing. But no, this is much more like a full unset, like Unstable. So I'm glad that Unstable was received so well that they get to keep doing this. So that's nice. And it's Unfinity set in I'll just read it right here. It's magic in space. It's retro futuristic fun meets a space carnival you must see to believe. So as you can see from the key art, it's a space carnival where at the carnival they have like Magic the Gathering, like the Magic IP, or at least they use the Magic IP, which is kind of great. Also, as I mentioned on Twitter, for those who only listen to this show and don't pay attention to Twitter, which is a reasonable thing to do.
Healthy even.
Yeah, healthy. Yeah.
Smart. Yeah.
Among the people on the creative text team for Unfinity, creative text being card names and flavor text was both myself and Cameron.
Yeah.
And Kathleen, right?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna mention everybody else, but yeah, from Loading Ready Run, it's myself and Cameron and Kathleen were all on the team for this, which was very exciting.
Yeah, way to go! Congrats.
Yeah, got asked to do that, and this was some time ago, and obviously can't talk really any more about it. Certainly not until the actual set comes out. But we were told that we were allowed to confirm that, which is atypical. I think. I mean, I don't think that normally the creative text team is not like known quantities.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the entire team was, of course, Mark Rosewater, because he's on literally every team for the unsets. So he was contributing a lot. Our sort of lead, the team lead, was a guy named Aries Arulnik, who was very nice and very funny. Also on the team was Austin Bridges, who has done creative text for a bunch of different other sets. So he was sort of the team veteran. And then the three of us from Loading Ready Run and Sean Baby. And I don't know if you're familiar with Sean Baby's work, but he's been around on the internet for ages. When I mentioned that, someone in the chat was like, from EGM? And yes, that is one of the places. I read a bunch of his stuff on cracked.com before Cracked started to suck. Basically, all the funny people who I followed at Cracked don't work there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm especially proud that you managed not to break your NDAs for this while, working with all of the rest of us.
It was so difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And doing all this magic stuff all the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I have a writing project I'm working on. Goodbye. So yeah, can't wait. I think it's within the realm of my NDA, etc., to say this is very fun. I think people are going to like it. It's very silly, and it'll be good. It'll be good.
I hope so too.
Yeah. I also hope that that's within the realm of what you're allowed to say, Grant.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, even if it's not fun, I'm looking forward to drafting it based purely on the success of Unstable. I remember that one just being like one of the best draft sets they had churned out. Like it just it felt like a great core set, and hopefully Unfinity continues with that. And I'm really excited and eager to find out what all you wrote and what's going on at this weird space carnival.
Yeah, I look forward to finding out what I wrote too.
Yeah, I barely remember anything.
Right.
We've definitely had people be like, oh, I can't wait to see all the, Loading Ready Run jokes that you've snuck in there. And it's like, that's not really, that would be doing a bad job. Because the point of a job like this is to serve the greater whole. And if something like really sticks out in like a noticeable way, then that's actually doing a bad job. But I think certainly for you two, certainly for you and Kathleen, I think there are flavor texts that are going to be recognizably like I think there's some flavor text in there that's very Cameron, and I think there's some that's very Kathleen.
Yes, agreed.
Great. Well, I can't wait to play that game now.
Yeah.
I mean, Kathleen really knocked it out of the park, IMO.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So also next year, based on the back of the success of Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, is there? So, okay, this is a sort of a mashup of several different things. There's a new set. It's not a standard set like AFR is. It's called Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate, but it's also the next Commander Legends.
Sweet.
So it's Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate Commander Legends.
Oh, you're right. They managed to make it. Magic the Gathering presents Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate Commander Legends, right? It's like, how many more letters can we get in this name?
Yeah, featuring Cardi B.
Exactly. An Eminem joint, yeah.
So it's the Commander Legends draft experience where you draft a 60-card commander deck, but it's more D&D.
New dungeons, maybe?
Ooh, dungeons?
Get in some different dungeons. That could be fun. I had a pretty good time drafting AFR, although after, I want to say 30 drafts, it was just sort of like, oh, right. Okay, so you just always have to get into Rakdos if you can. Yeah, so that like as a draft set overall, while the mechanics were great and like I had a fun time with all the cards, it was one of those ones where it's like, oh, okay, once it's solved, it loses some of the value of replayability. So,
yeah, I think it was really fun for the first couple of weeks before people realized you just have to be in Rakdos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can be in other things if the table's pushing you. It's like you can have success with other decks, but you kind of have to be aware of like the possibility of Rakdos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit solved that way.
Drafting Commander Legends was awesome, and I'm sad I didn't get to do more of it because I think I only actually did a full draft of it the one time just
for the PPR.
PPR.
Right? Me too. I managed to do a like home draft thing over Discord where I like dropped everyone's pools off their house after we Rochester drafted it, which was a lot of work, but that's just how much I loved Commander Legends draft. Like that set was fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to this too.
Yeah. And I love the D&D aspects of it, so I'm all in for this. They're also doing another Double Masters.
Remember that set?
Yeah.
We drafted it in the woods.
Also only drafted that one once for the PPR.
Ditto.
I'm kind of surprised they're making another Double Masters.
I mean, I guess people liked it.
I guess.
Yeah. I thought Double Masters was going to be the only one of its kind too, but yeah.
So yeah, there's 2 foils per pack, 2 rare or mythics per pack, and it's got more powerful reprints and a multicolored draft focus. And do you take 2 picks per pack? Or no, the first pick of each pack is 2?
I can't remember now. Want to watch coverage of the PPR?
Yeah.
Sure, we could look it up.
Let's go back to Watch This in the Woods, I suppose.
We definitely took 2 cards first, and then after that, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Possibly we just took 1 out of every pack after taking 2.
Yeah, I think it was the first pick of each pack was 2 cards.
Okay.
I think. Either that or just the very first pick, but I think it was out of each pack. We'll find out. It'll be back.
Yeah.
As is Jumpstart in a more traditional fashion, because there's the Jumpstart Historic Horizons that's out on Arena now that I've been enjoying. But there's also Jumpstart 2022. So that's like this one's actually in paper again, because Historic Horizons, of course, is Arena only. And they say that it's going to have a new Booster Fun card treatment, a new to Magic card in every pack, and dozens of new themes. So sign me the heck up.
Now,
Yeah.
did they let us know whether this is also coming to Arena? You'd think, because the first Jumpstart was like it came to Arena and it came to paper.
Yeah, I assume.
So yeah, I can't remember from the video whether that's happening, but let's expect that.
Yeah.
Unlike Double Masters, and unlike Commander Legends, and unlike Unfinity.
Yeah.
So if you're looking forward to Arena sets, this one may be in the 4th quarter. You can expect.
They also talked a bit more about some stuff that we already knew about, which was the Warhammer 40k commander decks. Cam, during the announcement, the sort of the brand manager or the guy like in charge of these kind of partnerships, Mark Hagan, he kept calling it Warhammer 40,000.
I think Games Workshop is really pushing hard to call it Warhammer 40,000.
That was my
Warhammer,
assumption.
Not 40K. I don't. It feels wrong.
He was very particular about saying 40,000 every single time, and so I was watching this live, we were co-streaming it, and chat was like, why does he keep saying it like that? And I was like, the way that he keeps doing this makes it seem to me like this is a branding request on behalf of Games Workshop.
Like Games Workshop's all their videos refer to it as Warhammer 40,000, and it would be like, I don't know, if you were watching TV and an ad that kept saying Burger King came on. Right? You didn't even know that you cared about this, but now it's upsetting you.
Subway.
Yeah.
Yet fresh.
Subway.
It's weird, right? Like 40,000. I would love to find out why they care about this. Like, is it just some admin at work or at Games Workshop's job to like change things? Or
there must be somebody who's like, that is not the name of the game. It is not called 40K. It is called Warhammer 40,000, and you will use it. Also, they have yet to fix the logo. This is the logo they came up with for 9th edition. And Graham, I want to know if you can see what makes my teeth hurt in this logo.
Oh, I think we've talked about this before. The tail of the R goes outside the border.
Oh no.
It does.
And the A is slightly off center from the Eagles. Why?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, literally just shift everything a little to the left and I think you've solved it.
Yes.
Awkward.
Why?
Why?
Why are you doing
Warhammer 40,000.
That's
Warhammer 40,000.
We're putting our energy into saying 1,000 instead of centering the text.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else did we learn about this set though?
Not much. It's coming out 2022. It's going to be Commander decks. We've talked about this before. There's maybe a bigger conversation to have about Universes Beyond, but frankly, I'm like, yeah, right. I'm into 40K. I'll play this thing. Same with the Lord of the Rings set, which is not coming out until 2023. So that was further out than I thought. And that's going to be a full set, non-standard. So that'll be interesting as well. And this is the other Universes Beyond things they announced is a secret lair with Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
They showed off a picture of Chun-Li and they confirmed that she will have multi-kicker.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Which was very funny. And also a secret lair for Fortnite.
Hey-oh.
And I can't muster the energy to care.
Yeah, I would be like a little incensed and like I don't know, disappointed or whatever, but I just already read a bunch of tweets and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's an overreaction, everyone.
Yeah.
I reported on this on our show Checkpoint, which is our gaming news show on youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. And sort of buried in the middle of the story was my real thoughts about it, which was I said that this feels like a product targeting two fan bases, neither of whom want this.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But I don't know. Probably it'll probably sell very well to Fortnite people, I guess, and some Magic people.
If it gets people into Magic that haven't heard of Magic but do play Fortnite, right? Like if that succeeds in happening, and then we have more opponents and more players to play with, right? Like that's good.
Exactly.
Honestly, the Street Fighter thing I think seems sweet too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound too much like a decrepit old man because Fortnite is tremendously popular, and it's very possible that there's a much greater crossover in the Venn diagram between Magic players and Fortnite fans than I am aware. But
I think among people who are less than half our age, this might do numbers.
Right.
Oof. Yeah.
Right. I ain't here to tell the kids what is or isn't cool. I'm cool.
Yeah.
But I acknowledge, what, it's like the Abe Simpson thing. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was, and what it is now strange and scary to me.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, good news. Abe Simpson probably going to come out in Secret Lair of the Simpsons in a few minutes. Seriously, like if we can get Street Fighter and Fortnite, like why can't we just have Secret Lair Golden Girls and Secret Lair Garfield? Like I'm looking forward to that stuff. Like the door's wide open now.
My commander is Sophia. She does hand attack effects. She would though.
Wow.
You got me. But yeah, we've flossed open the door to any cool secret layers you wanted. Thank you, Fortnite.
All right. To round out the episode, we're going to quickly talk about the actual premier products for 2022. All that was bonus ancillary stuff. Obviously, we spent 15-20 minutes talking about the secret layers that are available right now, but
yeah, it's been an hour. Let's talk about the content of the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So the first standard set for 2022 is Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. We are returning to Kamigawa. It is the far future of Kamigawa from where we saw it previously, and it is very cyberpunk style.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into this.
Spit Take and Wheeler.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet, honestly. When you say it's going to be cyberpunk, and you imagine it puts images into your head that are not necessarily backed up by the key art of the set, right? Like it still looks, I don't know, it looks sweet. There's a little the new Planeswalker, whose name escapes me, who they mentioned on the stream and introduced in the key art, has an origami tanuki on his shoulder.
Yeah. And I mean, people are saying oh, so now we're going to have guns and magic. I don't know. I didn't see that part of the presentation where they released the fact that they will all be carrying,
They did not mention that at all, and I suspect there will not be guns.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you, Graham. Magic is a technology, and I want to see just conceptually what we can do with a space when we say that technology is not the arbiter of a society's sophistication, right? Or what we think of as technology is not what someone in the Magic multiverse thinks of as technology. Magic is a technology, right? I have thoughts on this because this is something I've wanted to talk. Why does a universe with magic in it always look like feudal Europe?
Good question.
It doesn't have to. That was a decision that we all made and took as default. So why don't we just break out of that and see where we can go with it, right?
Yeah. And I think the Magic multiverse doesn't need it, right?
Yeah, we've talked a bit about Spelljammer, which is, magic stuff happening in space. And what that might look like, right? What would you do if you could build a spaceship using magic? Well, we have some thoughts on that, and they're weird. They're very weird.
Yeah.
I don't like them, but it's still a neat thought.
Yeah, I'm really neat to see that. They also said that they have worked with a bunch of actual
cultural liaisons or something,
Yeah.
or there's a word they used. Yeah, maybe it wasn't liaison, but some sort of, they're going to try to not,
I want to say diversity experts, but that also sounds wrong.
Yeah, they're going to do their best not to piss people off as they represent Japan, right?
Yeah.
So let's keep our fingers crossed real tight that happens, like that, that we get out of this and we get to play with these cards without like feeling guilty or being filled with horror as we look upon like, what they've done to Japanese culture. Because certainly it's very exciting to think to go back to Kamigawa and have it mixed with like, like Blade Runner and Cyberpunk and the future of Kamigawa. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to see what else is on Kamigawa and have more characters and places take form Magic cards. So yeah, big hopes here.
The second standard set for 2022 is called Streets of New Capenna, and it is a like roaring 20s Art Deco crime syndicate setting. And I'm also very excited for this, frankly. It's apparently this plane has a special significance to Elspeth, whatever the heck that means. It was a city built by angels that is now being run by demon crime families, and each of the crime families also has their like 3 colors. I don't know if it's the wedges or the shards or whatever, but it's like mechanically each of the crime families goes across 3 colors. But the art is unprovably Obnixilis. I think it's Obnixilis. It's a big demon wearing a pinstripe suit.
Right?
Yep. Oh, I'm just looking forward to the atrocious fashions we're going to see in this.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Gangsters are not really known for dressing like understated, so I need to see this. Right. I want to see these very, very fancy looking demons.
Yeah, I want to see some sort of magical jazz band, and maybe I'll be able to put together a cosplay out of just stuff that's in my house already.
Yeah, like the Art Deco style like inlay in the background of the art, the key art, intrigues me. I'm like, can we get the big demon guy out of the way? I want to see what's going on these walls.
There was a wide shot they showed of the city during the presentation. And as they were describing it, I mentioned this on Twitter, but as they were describing it, I was like, oh, like Tailspin. Wait, what's wrong with me?
I mean, kind of though, right?
It's that era, right? It's the same sort of era. This would be Cape Suzette, right? Is the town in Disney's Tailspin, where it's the same sort of thing, right? It's like crime bosses and pinstripes and Art Deco architecture.
Don't feel bad about it, Graham. There were people watching this who are like, so they're just ripping off BioShock now?
Brutal.
Wow, I just felt something ran through my body.
Yeah.
When you said that, it went all the way through it.
I believe that is the ghost of a straw man. Just phasing right through you. I invented that guy.
I can feel him in the room with us.
Yet I'm confident he really exists out there.
Yeah.
I'll go search Twitter later.
Really, though, that plane looks super cool. Can't wait for the Boardwalk Empire plane.
Yep. Yeah. So after like Cyberpunk, Future Japan, and 1920s Boardwalk Empire, as you say, I think it's very smart of them that the third set next year is going back to Dominaria.
All right.
Right. I think that's a good idea to be like, all right. Now let's go right back to where Magic started. So it's called Dominaria United, and we don't know much about it.
But hey, everyone who had a fit about us going to Neon Genesis Kamigawa and then also to Tailspin World, you can have some regular old boring feudal Europe Magic cards as well. Let's try to keeping the family together here. Yeah, but as you say, we don't know anything else about it. So I don't know if it's anything like the last Dominaria draft set. It's going to be awesome.
And then there's other different Dominaria set that is from a different time than that one. So Dominaria United, as far as we're aware, is continuing to follow on the story of Dominaria following the set Dominaria from a couple years ago. But then the fourth set in 2022 is from way before any of that, and it's called The Brothers' War. So they're making a set of The Brothers' War between Urza and Mishra.
My question for this is that Magic sets seem to have this directive where they will have 3 planeswalkers. Yet, in the distant past, planeswalkers looked very different than they do today.
Right. Before the mending, right?
And this would be before the mending.
Yeah. Is Urza going to be like, or are the planeswalkers in this set going to be like 45 mana +1 time walk? Right? Like
-2, exile all of your opponent's permanents and their library.
Maybe you just don't make planeswalkers of them? I don't know. That's a great question.
They might just make some like very expensive ones to try to represent that. Like, Ugin is like one of the most powerful planeswalkers we have printed, right? And like it evokes a bit of that feeling of just like, well, this guy's abilities are nuts, but I guess he spent 8 mana. So I don't know. I'm mostly just kind of weirded out that the pacing of these 4 sets is like, okay, plane we haven't seen in almost 20 years, and it's in the future. So a lot of exciting information there. Then brand new plane, and then back to Dominaria. But then the 4th one is like, and we're still on Dominaria for this one, and it's something you're familiar with as well. So it's like the pacing of new and familiar beats feels weird to me. I'm really stoked that the Brothers War is getting a set. I'm excited to see these cards, like, Return to Antiquities kind of vibes, but
big mechs.
Yeah, but it just, as in terms of its place in the year's rollout, does feel strange to me. So that irks me a little bit, but I'll get over it, I'm sure. And yeah, I don't know, what are they going to do about this Planeswalker question? Because you're right, Cameron. There is an issue of why Planeswalkers didn't used to be cards, partly for this reason. In the early part of the lore, it was like, oh, the player is the Planeswalker, and like no card could be another Planeswalker. That would be like making another player. It just wouldn't work for the rules, right? Like that was like a 1990s explanation. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe they just won't put any Planeswalkers in the set. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, it would be an interesting break.
Or they could have some Planeswalkers from the future or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Are we seeing this because, Teferi has decided to like take a weekend in the Brothers War, right?
Right.
Like, there's got to be some nerds out there with a time machine who'd be like, man, if I had a time machine, I tell you what I'd do with it. The Battle of Midway. I'd be right there, with the dive bombers. You're like, man, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. You're going to wreck it. You know that, right?
Or die.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah.
Maybe there are war nerds among Magic planeswalkers who are like, yeah, got to see the battle, the Brothers War.
I'm going to go weekend at the Brothers War.
Like O'Brien and Bashir with their weird like obsession with last stands in the final season of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to do Battle of Thermopylae? No, let's do Alamo. I'm like, guys, this isn't healthy.
You need to stop.
A maker of bad decisions. Sorry, Graham, I interrupted what was undoubtedly going to be a fantastic segue.
No, well, I was gonna maybe do a segue about like, and now we need to stop. And then you said that, and I was gonna be like, but you can make good decisions by going to Card Kingdom. But I realized I didn't actually want to ramp right through to Card Kingdom until we actually wrapped like the episode, which is basically, apart from the Fortnite thing, which I don't care about, I'm in for all of this. This all looks very exciting. I think this was a very, very good announcement of a bunch of things that I'm quite into.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a lot here.
There's a lot.
And, maybe we could pump the brakes a little bit just to give us some breathing room. But then again, I guess, like, if it sells, it's going to keep happening. But, I mean, this all seems interesting. There's stuff, like, nothing here makes me mad, right? There's definitely some stuff I have less interest in, like the Fortnite Secret Lair. I'll probably get over that. I'll just, like, look at that and go, well, looks like I'm going to go on with my life.
Yeah, I mean, even if you like Secret Lairs, it's like it only takes 5 minutes, right? It doesn't take up the space of the rest of the releases because, need to learn the draft environment or anything.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play against one of these cards in a commander pod at some point and then still go on with my life.
Yeah.
And you can go on with your life by buying cards at Card Kingdom. There. See, it all worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah. Please go to cardkingdom.com/LRR. They're our sponsor, and we would like them to continue being so. And ask for a button. It says lands in front, party in the back.
Maybe ask for 2 or 3 buttons. Ask for as many buttons as they'll give you and hope that they just stuff your envelope with buttons. And then make a video of you burning that button and post it.
Also, this show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon. I don't even think I mentioned this at the top of the show. Go to patreon.com/loadingreadyrun because it helps us keep the lights on. That is going to do it for Tap Tap Concede. I have been Graham, joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And Nelson.
A demon in a zoot suit.
Jordan edits these. Heather gets them online. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.